Our regular television cameras are now stationed at the World's Fair terminal of the new monorail line in Seattle. Less than a minute ago, the train left the fairgrounds. It's now speeding down Fifth Avenue toward the $250,000 downtown terminal at Westlake Avenue and Pine Street. At that location, we have a portable TV camera that's known affectionately in the trade as a creepy peepee. And now we are in the train at the downtown terminal. It will take just 96 seconds for the monorail train to complete the run from the World's Fair, slightly more than 1 mile away. And when the two trains are operating at capacity, more than 10,000 passengers an hour can be transported to and from the fair on the Allweg Century 21 monorail.
Well, we made it right on time. Next time, you'll have an opportunity to come with us. The train is parked right now right over Pine Street with automobile traffic moving along below us. In just a moment, we'll fill you in on everything that happens here at the Westlake Mall Terminal. But first, I think we should talk to a gentleman who has literally lived with this project day and night, 7 days a week since it was first talked about. He's Mr. Sixton Holmquist, who is the president of Allweg Monorail and Allweg Rapid Transit of Washington State. Mr. Holmquist, I guess the past few days have been very happy ones for you and your staff.
They have indeed, because it's always wonderful to see a project come to the finish line.
It does represent the culmination of a great deal of hard work, does it not?
It does.
How many people do you have on your staff?
Well, actually, we are quite few. Up here in Seattle, we've had about 12 people working on the construction part of it. And back in New York, we've had about 10 people working on the trains themselves and on the electrical installation and questions pertaining to those.
Did you acquire your people here locally?
Our Seattle office has been staffed practically entirely out of Seattle. We've had, as I said, 12 people in the office. 11 of them comes from Seattle, and only one man comes out of our office in New York.
When will the second train arrive, sir?
The second train should be here around the 20th of March.
Do you have any idea how many people will be carried from here at the Westlake Mall to the Century 21 Fair site?
You mean in all? The total sum of them? No, that's very hard to even guess at.
What are the capabilities of the trains?
Well, we are capable of handling 10,000 people an hour, and our stations are designed for that. And these are really terminal stations rather than stations. And our trains can take that capacity too.
Speaking as one who has already had his first monorail ride, I'd like to heartily recommend it to each and every person who visits the fair. It's a great ride.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Holmquist.
This is the end of the line at the fairgrounds. Starting out with a curve from the Westlake Mall into Fifth Avenue at this end, the line makes another big curve off Fifth into the fair. Like everything else on the grounds, this is a colorful sight, and the colors are red and blue. Vaulted plastic roofs are directly over the two rails. At both terminals, passengers load and unload under cover. At the other side of the terminal structure, there is one of the main entrances to the fair. Visitors who come to the grounds via monorail from downtown move down a wide walk ramp to this row of ticket booths. They're only seconds away from the Space Needle, and a turn to the right leads them to the U.S. Science Pavilion and the numerous private exhibits at this end of the fairgrounds. Traffic flow of passengers at both terminals is arranged for fast, easy loading and unloading of the trains. Passengers always enter through outside doors and leave the train through doors on the opposite side facing the other rail. Passengers leaving either train move out to one central platform and walk in one direction, while entering traffic, except for round-trippers, flows in from the opposite direction. At the exposition terminal, there is a lower level below the passenger platforms, and here all the maintenance work and regular service on the two trains will be handled. We'll be back a little later for an underside view of the train at this station, but right now, it's still at the other end of the line, and let's switch to our creepy peepee camera at the downtown terminal. Since the Westlake station is raised 25 feet above the street, it's equipped with speed ramps to give the passengers an easy boost from street level up to the loading platform. Unlike an escalator, the speed ramp is a traveling belt on a gradual slope. It has its own roof providing cover in seasons of light Puget Sound mist. But as all Seattleites know, These come mostly after the fair closes next fall. At the other end of the station, another speed ramp takes arriving passengers down to the street. Almost unique among major expositions, the Seattle World's Fair is only a mile and a quarter from the heart of the city, and because of the monorail, the Westlake Mall is actually a sort of downtown gateway to the fair. Tickets, one-way or round trip, may be purchased at either terminal station. 75 cents round trip, 50 cents one way. Children, 35 cents and 50 cents. It will not be necessary to purchase a World's Fair admission ticket to ride the monorail. No action at the ticket booths yet, but now that the test runs are completed, it won't be long.
Here we are now inside the monorail train, and I'd like very much to introduce Mr. Dick Spencer, the gentleman who designed the exterior conformation, these beautiful seats which you see, and selected the various colors which he will describe for us now. Dick, incidentally, this is mentioned as the blue car of the monorail line. But actually, it doesn't look very blue from where we sit right now.
No, not exactly. The blue actually is just on the exterior.
Will you describe those two shades of blue you have?
We use a very light blue for the basic part of the car and a dark blue stripe.
They look beautiful with the aluminum trim, too.
Yes.
Now, the interiors.
We use a beige for the walls, and the upholstery we use a dark coral thread.
Will the second car be identical to this?
It's identical car, but the colors will be reversed. There we use the beige exterior with a red stripe, and the interior will have a light blue upholstery material.
And, of course, the walls will be red, is that correct?
No,
I mean,
no,
I beg,
they'll be
dark
beige.
blue, correct?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How long have you and your crew been working on this project?
Over a year we've been working on the train, and the preliminaries started, I think it was in January.
You make your home here in Seattle?
No, my home's in Los Angeles.
It's been real enjoyable talking with you, Dick. Suppose we move up to the front of the car now, shall we?
Whether by coincidence or design, the blue train rides on the saltwater side of the line, and the red train will ride on the sunrise beam. The 124 seats in the train will seat about 250 passengers. Considering children, the total would be somewhat higher. During rush periods, with a full complement of standees, each train can carry 450 persons. Why is monorail a major feature of the Century 21 exposition? Because most authorities agree that new designs in metropolitan transportation will be a very significant feature of life in the 21st century. Urban centers, with a surrounding metropolitan and suburban complex, will have new transportation demands. Public transportation must be fast, and the serious problem of traffic congestion must be solved. Attention has focused on monorail because it provides high-speed transportation above the street, on a structure that is architecturally pleasing, that creates very little interference with normal traffic, and little obstruction of sunlight and air. Other cities of the world will watch with great interest the operation of Seattle's new monorail.
Are you ready for your monorail ride? We're all set. Our creepy peepee camera, portable camera, is aboard. We'll be sending you live pictures along the entire monorail route as long as our picture holds steady and firm. Now, if our driver is ready, we'll move out. You'll notice that the monorail car accelerates very smoothly, very rapidly, and is very quiet. We might point out that this trip will be made at about 50% of the normal monorail train speed, inasmuch as it is a test ride staged especially for our World of Tomorrow cameras. We're just passing Times Square now, and as we move along, may I describe the complexities of this ride technically and the pictures that you're receiving. Our creepy peepee camera, of course, is shooting pictures through the microwave transmitting device operated by Pacific Telephone Northwest. This picture is being transmitted from the monorail train to the Century 21 Fairgrounds and is coming to you live and direct at this very moment. As you watch the pictures, they are being taken. Moving along now, we see a magnificent sunset taking place over to the westward, and to the east, which we just saw, a view of Lake Union, the huge bridge which is spanning the Lake Washington Ship Canal, bridge which will carry traffic from the great north-south freeway through Seattle. Also, the work that is in progress on that freeway. We're rapidly approaching the Seattle Post-Intelligencer building now, and beyond that, Seattle's great apartment hotel, the Grosvenor House. Moving along to the westward now, we see the outline of the majestic Olympic Mountains as they form their background for beautiful Puget Sound. Rapidly in the distance up forward, we see the great Space Needle, one of the major attractions at Century 21. The roof of the Century 21 Coliseum, which will house the central theme exhibit. In the distance, Queen Anne Hill. Now we're at the final turn of the monorail as it approaches the Century 21 terminal.
Only about 30 seconds to go. The Century 21 monorail should be reducing speed now, then coming around the bend and into the station. Just a little over a minute and a half after leaving the Westlake Mall. Tomorrow's rapid transit here and operating today.
Well, we made it right on time. And right behind me is Stan Davis with our creepy peepee, the camera which took the pictures along the entire monorail route. Boy, you did a fine job, Stan.
Thanks very much,
great.
Bill.
Friends, we'll be back with you with a little word about how the monorail was built and how it operates in just a minute.
You're watching The World of Tomorrow, brought to you from the grounds of Century 21, Seattle's World's Fair.
About 6 months after Alweg opened a design and engineering office in Seattle, construction on America's first rapid transit monorail got underway. Concrete piers were drilled 25 feet deep under the center of the street. Concrete forms for T-columns right beside each pier. After the steel was assembled in the form, graceful appearing columns were put on the site, but lying in their own position. When the concrete had cured, stripped away, a mobile crane moved the T-columns into position. Soon the spreading stretched in a long line down. Unlike the supporting columns, the rails were precast off the site. Giant beams 3 feet wide and 5 by concrete technology of Tacoma. Ordinary concrete, these beams have in concrete until the pre-strip in Europe about 20 years ago. Steel are stretched inside the form before and released after the concrete. This combination of concrete and under tension has unusual to support the load and also an amount of natural twisting due to centrifugal and wind forces. There are approximately 140 lines with an average length of about. A little later, we'll show you how the train rides the beam.
They dropped me off. Very interesting discussion here with Ben Colby, who is the engineer in charge of the project construction company, and Garvin Brakel, who is the Ben, what exactly is Howard S. Wright's project?
Well, we have the contract for the rail line and the two terminals at either.
On the project, Ben?
I've been on the project since February.
Garvin, when did you first break ground for the first?
We started the test putting March 20.
Has Howard S. Wright built the train runs, Ben?
No, those beams contracted out to Concrete Technology and to Coal.
Is it true that traffic was uninterrupted throughout the entire?
We were able to keep 3 lanes of traffic open while we were pouring, and in our columns, we stopped it altogether for
minutes at a time. What's yet to be done, Ben?
Final adjustment of the monorail line and painting.
As far as Howard S. Wright is concerned, all systems. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
While the line was being of the 2 trains was underway in the small city of Salt began in July of last year. While the train looked sleek and simple on the Rex vehicle, engineered for a new mode of transportation. Skin, there is a carefully designed structure and a vast. Although fabricated and assembled in a factory not far from Germany, it is 40% an American product. Westinghouse air brakes, Firestone tires, and even upholstery from the United States. Completed cars were transported to the port of Fremont States. Train number 1, which we are watching in operation, transferred to rail cars in New York across the continent by rail. Train all the way by ocean transport, arriving in and 25th.
Arrived in Seattle in 4 sections and had 4-car trains, more accurately composed of 2 cars for Allweg designated with driver's cab and the adjacent 1 car. The 2 are parted only if necessary for maintenance. The other 2 sections form another car in the opposite direction. Even though car, it's coupled rigidly to the first. In designing monorail systems, a number of if there were a turnaround and of the train, Allweg could build a train with. But in this case, we have 2 aerodynamic with the driver's cab pointing in each direction. Turns around. The driver just moves to the other end. Our 4-section operating unit is considered for all normal demands, regardless.
Let's talk with Mr. Gunther Wengatz, the monorail train. Mr. Wengatz, why are these 1 car?
Because of electrical equipment, brake equipment, auxiliaries are installed in 2 sections.
Controls at both ends of the train.
That's correct.
Does this mean that the train simultaneously?
No, it cannot be. For this, to avoid any human error, we developed a special allows only having control in one end at
Pictures of these cars on the dock in New York, I had no idea such dynamic lines as we see here on the...
That question has been discussed several times. Yes, you see the train standing on that spot, but it's quite different.
It certainly does. Where are the
motors are located below the floor in the lower part of the
are there on the train?
On the train we have 8 motors.
Simultaneously?
They are controlled simultaneously.
What about
the brake system is an air system which is even simultaneously.
Is there some sort of a fail-safe system?
Oh, yes.
In the event the air fails, then the train stops automatically, right?
That's correct.
You know, I'm no engineer, but certainly this is a fine train to ride on. I've really enjoyed the ride.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wengatz.
In the Allweg system, the train snuggles like an inverted horseshoe on the rail beam. And perhaps you didn't realize that there are many tires on the train which roll exactly perpendicular to the tires on your car. Not solid rubber, but pneumatic tires of tubeless nylon cord hidden underneath the long skirt of the train. They do much to provide the cushioned, rubber-tired ride of the monorail. Even now, you can't see the big load-carrying tires that roll on top of the beam. But visible to our camera below are the guiding, stabilizing wheels that roll horizontally along both sides of the beam. This lower level of the World's Fair terminal will be the working home for 3 electricians and 2 mechanics, hired by Century 21 and supervised by Allweg.
This is Harry Hinkey, Assistant Vice President in charge of administration for Century 21. Harry, what exactly is the monorail going to mean to this great World's Fair?
Well, the monorail will be a great World's Fair symbol. Like all World's Fairs have had their symbols, the monorail and the Space Needle and the Federal Science Pavilion will be the Seattle World's Fair symbols.
One of the great drawing cards to this fair.
It certainly will be.
In spite of this, however, it can't be considered as another amusement ride at the fair, can it?
No, as all World's Fair guests are going to find out, this is a first-class, full-scale World's Fair transportation system.
Sort of a glimpse into the rapid transit of the future, is that correct?
Certainly is.
I know that all has not gone smoothly from beginning to end in the planning of the fair. Was there ever a time when you thought perhaps there wouldn't be a monorail at Century 21?
Oh, I'm sure there were some times when it looked like the monorail wouldn't be. However, once the Allweg company had their agreements completed and the Howard Wright Construction Company started on work, it was a pretty easy job from there on in.
This is just one more example, a very dramatic example, I might add, of the bold planning that has gone into this entire project. You're to be complimented. Thank you very much, Harry.
But the future of monorail in Seattle is really a larger and longer question. It relates to the need for rapid transit in the developing metropolitan world, trunk lines to airports and suburban areas, for example. The World's Fair preview may answer some questions in the same way that early space flights did. From this, there could come a pattern of the future. But whether or not this is a milestone in transit history, the future will decide.
We'll be back in just a minute with a progress report on the entire World's Fair. You'll join us when again we present The World of Tomorrow. 2 weeks from tonight, Monday at 8 p.m., our World of Tomorrow cameras will be back on the fairground site for another inside behind-the-scenes visit at one of the other very exciting aspects of this great World's Fair. Until then, this is Bill Nielsen. Good night.
of tomorrow, an inside view of Century 21, the Seattle World's Fair, will be seen again in 2 weeks, and with growing frequency as the opening day approaches and full operations begin on April 21. This is Martin Tobin saying good night from the site of the great World's Fair in Seattle.
Black sweater if you need it.
No, I'm not getting reflection.
You're in trouble with me and you will not be that was very rude.
Maybe feeding. And that's her cub. He's a whole big baby. Years. What is he? I don't know, he's 5 or 6. Oh. And how old's that one? That's really old. She's like 7 or 8. It'll probably work just not with the flash. Look at that. I know. Oh, yeah, no, they got a ton. The horses and the chickens, the pigs at our house, that's our baby, but it's grown up. As soon as the school bus drove in, it was like, Errol started hollering. They knew it was time to eat. And the pigs would take and get themselves out because my daughter wouldn't get down there fast enough. They'd go up the shed and feed themselves. Well, they're lazy.
Wake up, brother.
Oh, look at him, he's waking up.
You see it, bro?
I can take off my flash.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to picture of that one. That's cute little kitty. Little
How many hours? Look at this smooching out there. Oh, look at the teeth on that guy. Wow. On the end of